is also the pineal. So this is going to impact your hormonal glands too. And there's a lot of talk about the pineal gland. Christoph might actually know more about it than myself, and maybe people here do. I was very interested in a while ago. My research has gone away from that. But one thing is that, oh, this is perfect, actually, this image. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Okay. So I talked about the head diaphragm. This is the head diaphragm. It even looks like a diaphragm, doesn't it? That's why it's a diaphragm. And this is the scalp diaphragm. Okay.
So it's like the dark blue.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes outside. So you can see here, even on the skull itself, can you see this ridge on the inside and on the outside?
Yeah.
So there's a continuity between the connective tissue and then the ridges on the inside and the outside of the skull. And then this bony protuberance on the outside is where the muscles on the outside attach into and pull it out from here and here. So it's all a continuity. And this is the head diaphragm, the tentorium, which becomes this part of the cranial base and becomes basically this is your eyes. So under your eyes and your nose. Okay.
Go a moment back to the eyes so people have a clear understanding where.
Yeah. So the eyes are going to be here. So this is your forehead and your nasal sinus. Okay. And so your eyes are going to be like around here on the outside of this. Okay. And this is your nose. So this is your nasal airway. So the air is going to come in through here. And people don't, pay enough attention that you have this huge amount of air above the roof of your mouth that goes up almost between your eyes. Okay. And what we're working with is this diaphragm is the main head diaphragm, right? And the pineal gland sits pretty much right on top of it. And so does the pituitary gland. This right here in the sella turcica, this right here is the pituitary gland and your pineal gland. And it sits right on top of where the tentorium is. So this also mirrors what we would see in the main thorax. So in your main thorax, if this was your diaphragm, this would be where your heart is, because your heart sits right on top of your main diaphragm. So this as above, so below connection. Your heart sits and connects, literally, it connects right into your main diaphragm, and you have the vena cava and everything running up and down. So that's where it connects into the main body. But if you're somebody who's interested in the pineal gland and these sorts of experiences, one thing for sure, if we want to clean out any glands or make sure that they're working properly, they require a rhythmic force. So everything in the body works with rhythms, and the breathing is the primary rhythm, I would say. And so every time that you breathe in, there should be a flexing across these diaphragms, which pumps in nutrients. This respiration, it pumps in nutrients, pumps in water, pumps in blood flow, pumps out all the bad stuff. And so if these pumps aren't working, then calcification or things like that start to happen. They happen clearly in the muscles, as we spoke before, that if the muscle is not getting used and pumped, like the tendons and stuff, you'll start depositing calcium in there. And things just...
So I think for people to understand, like when you sit for a long time, like during a flight or whatever, you start to you have water in your legs and the ankles. And when we walk, we have this muscle pump that helps to bring the lymphatic liquid back up to the heart. So I think what you're proposing actually is a mechanism similar to that supports drainage of fluids.
Yeah,
but it's not done via muscles, but via the diaphragm.
Yeah, that all of those diaphragms connect together, and so whenever you breathe, your main respiratory diaphragm, it's gonna cause the airflow in your lungs, right? Without that main diaphragm expanding, there's no air coming into the lungs, there's nothing going out. There's going to be none of that exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. It needs that pumping action for the system to function. And that same thing I propose happens with the cranial sacral system. They talk about this, that the CSF fluid is also driven by the respiration. So you need CSF fluid going all the way from your spine into your brain, washing your brain and like transmitting nutrients. And this main diaphragm of the head, there's no evidence that it flexes, but the whole body flexes at once. So when you flex open on the inhale, which the craniosacral therapists say that you do, this diaphragm also flexes open. And then sitting right on top of it is your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. And so if they're requiring some movement in order to function properly, then we need to make sure that movement's there, and it happens on breathing. Same goes with the thyroid gland, thymus. Our main lines of respiration that we teach in whole body breathing, borrowed in large part from TCM and like Qigong, and also anatomy trains. They also go right over all of your major hormone glands, as if your hormone glands are expecting that there's going to be some sort of rhythmic massage to massage these glands so that they're functioning properly.
But so what you're saying, like people who are not into whole body breathing, who might just be, you know, like using their main respiratory diaphragm or a little bit of their rib musculature or a little bit of the accessory breathing muscles who like lift up the shoulder girdle.
Yeah.
They're only getting maybe 10% of like this motion here from this diaphragm or like the head diaphragm. Like they are missing out on a lot of action that can play with their powerful glands.
Yeah. That you said something really interesting there, which is very important. That when we talk about this beauty and development and everything, the people that are already well developed, they can't tell you what they're doing. That's one of the issue, right? That like, how did you do that? They don't know it because it's just subconsciously they're doing it. And so what we're trying to do is trying to figure out what's the subconscious healthy pattern, right? And the subconscious healthy pattern should be everything is getting pumped. There's probably no part of your brain that you don't want motion in, right? Or any part of your body that should be completely stagnant. Probably a couple times a minute, there should be some pumping action happening everywhere. And as your example was that now people understand that the feet and the calves are kind of like another heart. They call it like a second heart. Is that every single step, it pumps back up, right? It happens everywhere in the body. These pumps are active everywhere in the body, those 7 diaphragms. And with the Qigong and Tai Chi, we're pumping them, and that's what keeps everything flowing properly through the body and allows it to open.
Okay. And do you know anyone who had any, you know, like spiritual stuff happening to them after they started breathing into the head diaphragms? Yeah.
Myself, for sure. And yeah, many people. Yeah, definitely.
So it's like a common feedback that you get from your community.
That's expected, yeah.